Hello, this is Robin Sampson with Bible Journal Love. In this video, Amy from my design team is going to show you part 3 of how to make a mini treasure journal. Be sure to look at the links below. We have a big sale going on right now. Here's Amy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our next video in making these adorable little card box journals here that we've got going on. If you caught the last two videos, then you are right here with me. You've created your box and you've created your journal. And today we are going to work on getting our signatures put together. If you are new to these videos or to our group, my name is Amy Benham and I am with the Bible Journal Love design team. Robin has created this a beautiful little set, a little box of encouragement with these beautiful verse cards that go inside, and we have decided to make a little journal out of them. So that's what we've been doing. The first video was a little intro where I walked you through the journal that I've already made and gave you a nice little supply list so that you could make one with me. So the next video we made the box and the cover for our journal, and today we are going to go through the papers that I've selected for my journal. And let me zoom out just a teensy bit, and then we are going to kind of trim them down to size, get them into 2 signatures, and get them in our book. And we're going to try to do all of that in 20 minutes. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so a lot of this is just scrap paper that I had lying around. This was some pretty paper from another kit from a Bible study that we've done. This is from a book that is one of my favorite series, is by Brandon Mole, called Fable Haven. Love these books so much. So these are some pages that I had left over from that. This is the paper that I used to print the box out of. So that's what the inside of our box looks like. See? Very cute. And here we have some blueberry dyed ledger paper. I loved the way the blueberries turned out. Some more paper of Robin's from, I think this one was from last month's kit. This one's from January's kit. Aren't those trees just beautiful? This is from a previous kit as well. I think it was the fall kit that we did. This is just something that my mother-in-law actually gave me, and I just made a copy of it so that I could cut it up and put it in the journal. Very cute little picture. I'm not really sure what it is. It says it was printed in Holland for Cunningham Art Products. So we're going to chop this up and put it in there. She knows how much I just love paper. Got some graph paper. This is a collage that I made, and I made a copy of it. So that's going in there. This is a Bible dictionary page, and I just loved that it had this part right here. I'm hoping I can get that in the journal, but we'll see. This is some more graph paper that's dyed with yellow onion skins. This one was, I think this is just copy paper. I don't see any lines on it. That was dyed with beets. And then we got a brown paper bag. I like the texture and the sound, and I love the color in a journal. I think it looks great. This is just some paper from a happy planner thing that I didn't use, and so I like to fold these up and put them in journals. Got some tracing paper, some coffee dyed tracing paper, and some more happy planner paper. Okay, so I'm going to get these all cut to about this size so that it makes it a little bit easier to handle, because we are going to get it all together and then we're going to cut off the excess. We're going to measure and cut off the excess. It makes it a little bit easier than trying to exactly cut every single piece of these to the size that our journal is. But you can do that as well if you would like to to, you usually still wind up having to trim off some on the edge just because of the way it piles out. So keep that in mind when if you cut them all and then put them together. Okay, but the way that we're doing it today, it makes it a little bit easier and you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I will be right back when I get all these cut. Okay, we are back. Now, I've cut all of these about 7 by 3, just to kind of make it a little bit easier as I was cutting everything out. Now, some things are thinner depending on, how thick it was to begin with, and that's totally fine. I think our cards are, let me see, tell ya. They are, oh, what did we say? 3 3/8 by about 2.5. So we're going to want everything smaller than that, but I wanted to make sure that everything was definitely, big enough, because we can always cut it down, but we can't add more paper to it. So I've also already got my covers. So that way I can set those aside and put those into the signature last. So let's just kind of go through this one first. This is going to be my cover. So of course, let me slide this over here. So this one is going to be folded this direction, but the rest of them, we're going to kind of alternate it because you don't want all of your designs on the outside. And for things like this, I didn't double side print any of this, so I don't want 2 white pages together and stuff like that. So we want to vary all of that. So I'm just going to flip-flop between putting them on the inside and putting them on the outside. And then, of course, some of them, it doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to quickly fold them all in half. And then I will make a decision kind of where I want everything to go, what I want in the middle. Hear that crinkly paper? I love it. So I definitely don't want these 2 right next to each other. And I definitely don't want these 2 right next to each other. We've got this nice book page here and our ledger paper. Okay, so then my next step is to decide what I want in the center. And I think for this journal, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with the pink in the center, just like I did the other one. Okay, so this is so nice and colorful. I'm going to add something that is white on white. That will give us some nice journaling space. Okay, then let's go with some nice pinky brown here. There's no, rhyme or it's all in what you want to do. It's just it's very freeing. You just kind of go. Let's do this here. Make sure you're layering kind of in the middle. So you can layer all the way to your edges, but with us going to be cutting around it here, we want to make sure everything's kind of situated in the middle. And let's go with this. And then this. And then let's do some brown paper. So we've got some contrast with that one. Then we'll go with our onion dyed paper and our cover. Now I'm going to clip these together so that I don't lose them. My clips. And so that nothing gets out of order here. And we're going to clip that over. And then I'm just going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, this is my cover. And then I'm just going to go through it exactly the same way. Okay, now we've got both of our signatures here and they are ready to go. They're put together. So then what I would like to do is kind of get a rough measurement of where I want my journal, I got it upside down, my journal signatures to start and stop. Okay, so I'm going to move my clip over here. And then I'm just going to kind of measure it like this. Now I want everything to be on the inside of the journal. So I'm going to come on to, let me zoom in here. I am going to come onto this side, and I'm going to come a little bit on the inside here and make a mark so that I can cut it. Okay. And then I'm going to put this in the middle because I want to catch all those pages in the middle. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to put a little mark just a little bit lower so that I can see where I'm at. Okay, so I'm going to cut along here and along here and along here. Okay, so that gives me, whoops, a nice line to go by. Let's get just a little line down here too. I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so that gives me a cutting line for that. I'm going to do the same thing for this one, and then we will cut it out with, I think I'm trying to decide if I want to use a razor blade or just scissors. I think I can actually use my cutter, but sometimes it just doesn't want to cut through all of that. Okay, so let's get this edge right here and do the same thing down here. And then we'll go just a little on this and a little on this. Okay, and we'll make our line here. Alright, we will try it with my cutter. Let's see which one's got the sharper edge here. Let's try it and see. Don't know unless you try, right? Am I in? I'm in. Okay. The one thing that I really, really like about this Fiskars cutter is that it's got a tiny wire going down the middle here, and that makes it super easy to line everything up. My other cutter doesn't do that, doesn't have that, and it makes it a lot harder to see where everything's at. Okay, I'm going to go in between my two lines here. I'm just going to hold that down, and I'm just going to go over it. Whoops, hold still, little guy. Multiple times and see if I can get cut all the way through there. Let's see how we did. Now all of this is good and usable scraps here, so don't throw any of this away. Oh man, it moved. All right, see, but I can line it right back up because that wire just really helps. Okay, so I got almost everything all the way through there, so I'm going to use my scissors for the rest. Maybe. Those scissors walk away worse than anything I own. Oh, there they are. Okay, found them. Here we go. So now I'm just going to cut along this edge with my scissors because I've only got just a couple layers there. And if you have a really good pair of scissors, then you can probably do the whole thing this way once you mark it. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to do the top up here. Just line it up. Just let it kind of cut softly through there at first, and then press down as far as you can get it to go. Oh look, it cut all the way through there. Sweet. I don't think there was as many papers on the top. And then we'll do the same to the bottom here. And then this should fit in our journal very nicely. Oh, that one was a little bit of a stinker, wasn't it? Oh, there, got it. Okay, and so here's our journal. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. So now we have our little signatures all ready to go inside of our book. And you can see they're going to fit in there very nicely. All right, so now we need to get some holes ready. Okay, so I like to make it a little bit smaller than my cover, just because that makes it a little bit easier to see where everything's at. Okay, so just kind of do your paper close to the edge, but not all the way, and then find the line that's kind of close to that. I don't even know if you can tell that this is dotted paper, but this is some of that. This is just a scrap piece of paper that I had laying here with the Happy Planner dots all over it, okay? So that takes care of my sides. Now I want to get some lines to go by on the top and on the bottom. And I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. I might have to go up one more. Nope, that'll do. Okay. So then we've got this about the size of our cover, and then we're going to fold it right in half. So that's going to give us our center line. And this is why using anything with dots or squares or anything is super, super helpful, because it just helps you kind of know where to put those dots. Okay, so now we've got a crease here. Now we're going to fold it from the bottom to the top. And you can do this same method with any size journal. You just have to use the right size piece of paper. Okay, now we're going to do it again, bottom to the top. Okay, and that's going to give us our 3 holes or the place where we need to put our 3 holes. Okay, so you see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants, and we'll have 1, 2, 3 holes. Okay, I'm going to use a pink pen this time so that I can see what I'm doing and see my other marks. Okay, so I'm going to mark it right on the center of those spots. Okay, so this one's going to wind up right in the middle of 4 squares, or 4 dots, sorry, so right in the middle of the square. Now this gives me my center line, which is going to be used in the signature, okay? But we also need to know where we're going to put our holes in our cover for the holes to sew in the signatures, sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to put this in the middle of my cover here, and then I'm going to see where those edges go to, where my folds go to, and it goes to this line and about this line. So that tells me that in between, let me draw a line down here so you can. Okay, so you can see in between, I need to be in between here. So for the holes for my cover, I want them to slide over a little bit. So I'm going to put them in the middle of this other square here. Okay. Now I want to poke through those holes, so I'm going to utilize my table here and poke through the holes because I've got these ridges in my table. This is probably not very good for my pen, but you can see that I'm just going to poke a hole straight through there to where I can mark it on here and I can see where I need to be. Then I just line that up, mark it, and then I know exactly where I need to put my holes. Okay, there we go. Now that's up a little bit, so that'll be nice. Okay. For these, you are going to want something to put underneath because it doesn't take very long for it to go through this, which is what you want it to do, but then it can very easily cut your table. All right, I'm using this super small one. Let's see, it's 1/16 or 1.6 millimeters. and you just put it right on the dot, you hold it down, and you bang it 3 times. Or 4. And then it pokes you a nice little hole in there. Okay, see? All right, I'm gonna do the rest of those off camera so that you don't have to hear that awful noise. Okay, so now you can see we've got our holes, this set of holes for our first signature and this set of holes for our second signature. Now we need to get some holes into our signature. Again, this is something that you need another book for. I like to use something that's got a nice good binding in it that will kind of let the pages flow out just a little bit to where you can stick this down in there and it'll sit in there kind of nicely, and then you can pretty easily poke those holes in there. I think I need a new page. Oh, not that way. I think I might need a new book. I think I've poked inside this one too many times. Okay. Let's see. Am I in? Am I in? Am I in? Excuse me, little guy. All right, so here's where our owl is going to come in, and we still need our paper. Remember, we are going to poke through these middle holes right here that we have. This one, and this one, and this one. So we're going to take this and we're going to sandwich it inside of our book in the very middle. And we're going to get those lines. Now see, this is smaller, so we need to center up these lines where we want them to be and make sure that that middle dot is in the middle. Otherwise, our pages are going to be all wonky in our book. And then we're just going to set it in there. We're going to take our owl, we're going to stick it on that hole and just push. And you'll hear it go through. Now, you don't want to push any further than that. This is such a little book. You don't want those holes to be too terribly big. And then the last hole. Okay, then we can take our paper out, fold that back up, put our clip back on it, and he is ready. And we'll do the same thing with this guy. Open him up to the middle, center up our page in here where we want it, and then poke our holes. And you can do the same binding with lots of different journals and lots of different covers. So whether you're making a cover out of just file folders or just cardstock, or maybe some old cereal boxes or whatever, and then you've got your signatures, you can do them all exactly the same way. Whoops. All right, let's clip my guy back together here. And this guy, put my handy dandy book away, and where'd my cover go? Okay, and here's my cover. Okay, so now we are going to sew these bad boys in here. So for that, we are going to need a needle and some thread. Let's see, all I got right here is green. I'm gonna cover it up, so I don't really care what color it is, but if you do, then pick a color that you like. I'm gonna cover it up on the binding so you can't see it. In the middle, it'll just be pink and green. It'll be okay. Okay, so whoa, come here, string. Now comes the fun part. Let's see how long it takes me to thread the needle. Yay! Okay. This is always tricky once you get older and your eyes aren't very good. And I have my glasses on, but it's still, oh, look, there, that's sweet. Okay. This is a super easy binding. You just have to remember which ways to go. I like to clip my pages together. Makes them a little bit more manageable. So I'm going to use this clip, and then I'm going to put my cute little purple clip on here. Just make sure they're semi-closed. You don't want them, you know, flat open. It makes it a little bit harder to deal with them. Do I want this one first? I think I do. Okay, then you're going to line it up with your first set of holes here. And we're just going to go straight into the middle. Am I zoomed in all the way? Yeah. We're going to go straight down into that middle hole. Very rarely does this work perfectly the first time, so bear with me. You want to leave a little bit of string there so that you can tie it off at the end, and then we are going to come back through the top hole. Okay, this is where it very rarely works out perfectly because it's hard to get it through both of those at one time. Oh, look, I did it. Wow, that was pretty sweet. Okay, come on, all the way through. So then you're going to pull all the way through, and then we are going to go all the way down to the bottom hole, and we're going to go in the bottom hole and out through the cover. Okay. And just pull that snug. Then we're going to come back up through the middle. Okay, so we have our string here on this side, so the the left side of our string. So we want this other string to come up on the right hand side so that we can tie them together and secure this. Okay. You also have to be very careful that you don't catch this any of this other string. If you do, then you need to pull it out and redo it because it's not going to tighten up well if it's all jumbled in with that other yarn. Or string, sorry. All right, pull that through. And then we tighten it up real good. You don't want loose string back here. Okay, so pull them nice and snug, and then we're just gonna tie a double knot. You can leave this string as long as you want. If you want to use it for like a little bookmark into the center, it won't stay still. You can do that, or you can cut it short. It's up to you. Sometimes I leave mine and sometimes I don't. Today I'm not going to. I'm going to cut it super close. All right, I didn't take my needle out, so we can just head right to the next signature. All right, I'm going to take these off of here. I'm going to close this one and I'm going to clip it to the front so it's not flapping around everywhere driving me crazy while I'm trying to sew this one in. And then I'm going to take these clips and put them on this one just like I did on the other one. Okay. All right. So again, okay, now we're on the second signature, so we're going to use the second set of holes. It is not hard at all to crisscross these holes, so pay attention to where you're bringing your string in and out so that you don't get crisscrossed and wind up in one of these holes over here. Okay. So we're going to go through the middle of our book and through the middle hole in our cover, pull, then we're going to come through the top, go through the top hole. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yay! Okay, that like never happens. Okay, so we came through the top hole. Now we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. Come here. Pull it snug, and then we're going to kind of move everything out of the way so that we can come back up through that middle hole, hopefully without any issues. Yay, okay. And then we can take our needle off, put it somewhere safe so we don't get poked later on, and pull snug. Check the back, make sure those aren't wibble wobbly all over the place. This one needs to be a little bit more snug, so we'll just tug on it a little bit more. Sometimes you have to finagle them a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to tie it off. And cut. Sorry, I know it's wiggling around all over the place, but it's super tiny. It's hard to hold still. Okay. And then we'll save this string for next time. And we have our journal all put together, ready to decorate. All right, look at that. All right, so all of our pages are in here nice and neat. It fits inside of our cute little box. Just push that right down in there. You also have enough wiggle room to get all of your creative stuff inside there. It will get a little snug once you start decorating those pages. So be careful how many pages you pick out for your signature. I had to take some pages out because I had 16 pieces of paper for each signature, and that was a little bit much. So I dropped it down to 12 pieces of paper for each signature. Now that means, you know, we've got one here, this being one page and this being one page. Okay, so that made it a lot easier to handle. It gives us a little bit more space. You have to keep in mind that you are going to add a whole bunch of layers to this, and you don't want to wind up with way too bulky of a journal to where you can't. It's like sitting stacked open like this, which is what a lot of our Bibles look like when we get done with them, but that's okay. We are going to put something on here to hold it closed, but we have to keep in mind what we put on here because, again, we're trying to get this into this box for storage, so we want to make sure that that slides in and out pretty easily, which is why I went with those flat little magnets and just a paper flap, because I didn't want to have to deal with the bulk of anything when I'm trying to put it in and out of the box. Okay, so see, it's already flopping open like crazy. Let's put a little clip on here. All right, so here we go. Here's our box, and our journal's got both of its signatures all in it, and we are ready to begin decorating. I cannot wait to see your journals and what you've created. Make sure you share them in the group. Again, we are on Facebook and MeWe. You can check us out at Bible Journal Love Circle on MeWe. On Facebook, and Bible Journaling on MeWe. Okay? I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.